Printer ink was apparently distributed for many years after I left, by the way. Printer ink was apparently distributed to Iran.
Be with us.
Well, let's talk about jobs instead of Iran. It matters more to your listeners.
I got to tell you, Iran matters a lot.
The difference between me and Carly Fiorina, I think, is, again, somewhat troubling for those who are concerned about the Middle East. And I'll give you 2 points. While she was CEO of Hewlett-Packard, she awarded as her Wholesaler of the Year a company called Reddington Golf, whose sole purpose was to serve as a cutout, to serve as a conduit for Hewlett-Packard products into the Islamic Republic of Iran through the island nation of Dubai. She named them her Wholesaler of the Year in 2003.
Well, first of all, a nuclear-armed Iran isn't just Israel's problem. It's the world's problem. It's America's problem. About sanctions, they don't often work because business leaders, like Carly Fiorina when she headed Hewlett-Packard, circumvented them using an offshore entity called Reddington Golf. She exported hundreds of millions of dollars of high-tech equipment to the Islamic Republic of Iran.
And further, it's important to note, if people just dismiss it and say, well, you know, these are just printers, you know, there was some other high-end equipment that was even more restricted than the large number, the hundreds and millions of dollars of high-end printers that went to Iran. There was some dual-use equipment that was also exported to Iran that, regardless of how it got there, was illegal to be in Iran.
What kind of equipment are we talking about, Chuck?
Well, we're talking about electronic equipment that has dual-use capability. In other words, there are certain components that if you take them apart, you can use them in the military field, you can use them in the Iranian nuclear field. You know, we're talking, you know, state-of-the-art, high-end equipment, not just your desktop printer. And so there's basically two flavors to the U.S. embargo. The one flavor was, if you're a U.S. company, you cannot directly export certain items to Iran. The next flavor up, if you will, the next restriction up, indicates that none of certain types of equipment can ever go to Iran, the Islamic Republic of Iran, regardless of who's selling it.
Let me see if I can fill in some of the blanks here, because obviously it's a statement beyond just printers, as you said, coming in. So in a roundabout way, if Carly Fiorina had knowledge of equipment going to Iran and it was beyond printers, then she could have, in a roundabout way, as CEO of HP, encourage them, help them in the process of getting to nuclear armaments and ability.
To me, the connection is that in the same year that Reddington was their Wholesaler of the Year, in the same year that their Vice President of Middle Eastern Sales ascribed the huge increase in sales to the Middle East to Iran, Carly Fiorina, while CEO, on a conference call, a quarterly conference call for their earnings, in speaking about kind of the dot-com crash, was saying that, well, worldwide sales are down 7%, but our sales in the Middle East are up 9%. Now, she didn't say Iran, but she did say sales in the Middle East. And what's interesting is that same year, her VP of Middle Eastern Sales ascribed the big increase in Middle Eastern sales to Iran.
Is that your own record on the Middle East with regard to Reddington Golf, a company named after Mr. Hewlett, one of the founders of Hewlett-Packard, earned your 2003 Hewlett-Packard Wholesaler of the Year for the whole company and was engaged in selling your product to the Islamic Republic of Iran. And I think that is something that perhaps has been inadequately dealt with. And I was just wondering if you might want to comment on Reddington Golf.
Well, Chuck, as you know, you and I are scheduled to have a debate on Friday, and I'll very much look forward to that. As you also know...
But we would like to, I mean, hey,
I'll answer the question, Rick.
Go ahead.
I'll answer the question.
And I think it's very important, because this has already been out in the open, that here's this company named after the middle name of Mr. Hewlett that won Hewlett-Packard's Wholesaler of the Year in 2003. And so this company, you noticed when I asked her if she wanted to explicitly deny knowledge of this company being used as a cutout to sell Hewlett-Packard technology, which could not legally be exported to Iran. And she said, instead of denying it explicitly, she said, to the best of my knowledge. Well, that's not an explicit denial, and frankly, that's one of the reasons why these embargoes are so hard to enforce when you have Fortune 20 companies
figuring out ways of legally getting around American law. Now she's out asking us to even strengthen sanctions more. Well, how are we to then expect that her colleagues in big business are just going to maneuver around the new sanctions?